my gosh, I'm Alex Mack, and I'm so psyched to be here. We are the Call to Action podcast. Call to Action fans, you know it, we're here, and we're interviewing the best, arguably the best, new player in the IG. Get excited, Kevin Smets. And I'm also going to be interviewing Mr. Smets with...
none other than Dylan Camacho here on the mic.
Here we go.
I'm stoked to be here. I'm stoked to be doing another sweet interview. This is going to be a good time. We got a lot of great questions to go on for this, and we got a good match to talk about.
Many questions. So many. Get excited. This is going to be fantastic. Okay. And James.
James is lurking in the background if he wants to pop in.
Is a shadowy figure right now. All right, awesome. Yeah, but we have like so many questions. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Kevin. We really do appreciate it. We know you're a busy guy, obviously, and so much going on, but we just want to kind of drop it off. I was like, James, you wanted to start off with some questions I know you had?
Yeah, we might cover it for James for right now since he's being in the lurking shadows.
Let's make it quick. I got Kaiser. He's about to pull my ass back to the dungeon. So.
All right, here I'll take over on this one. Here, Alex, we'll kind of just pass the baton back and forth on these ones. Okay. So before we get into this really awesome match between you and Navarro, I think that I want to know, we got this phenom of an Innergeekdom player coming out of nowhere. We have to get this background. Smets, would you mind just giving us an idea? How did you get into Schmoedown?
Actually, I had been around the Schmoedown for a while as far as being a fan. I found out about it through Rachel Cushing, who's a friend of mine. We work in the same industry as editors. And so she would tell me about the Schmoedown or whatever. I think this is before she even joined the league. So, there's a couple of years before that where she came in. And then she came in, and when she started having her run, like, she would invite me to go to tapings. So I went to tapings, and that's actually how I met Christian for the first time. And I was a big fan of like Jedi Council on Collider, still am. And fans of Ken and Christian and Mark and stuff. So I would go to the tapings or whatever, and just watch and kind of, what we all do is play along. I had no interest really at first to be in Innergeekdom. I love the geek movies, or I'm sorry, as far as singles go. Innergeekdom I could hang when I would play along in the crowd. And then obviously when I started watching all the matches, Star Wars, which when I played along to that Iron Man match, I remember for Star Wars, and I hung pretty close. So then it's different when you're just watching, obviously, but that's when I was like, I should really do it. And so because of me and not wanting to, I didn't want to like ask or, expect Rachel or someone to like just get me a easy access, into the Schmoedown. There was a tier. So like, even kind of without telling Rachel, I think I told her I was going to do it, but there was the tier for the audition. And it's like, instead of just putting her up and being like, hey, can you get me on? You don't want to do that sometimes to your friends or whatever. So I wanted to earn it. Nothing is really given to you. So I went in and I did the $300 or whatever tier for auditioned.
Go big or go home, right?
Yeah, he told my ass to get packing. Yeah, I auditioned for Star Wars. Then he, no excuses. He threw IG on me that time right afterwards. And I did average at best at both, to be honest. Like Star Wars, I did good. But I was in character.
When was it specifically? When you went
they put you through like a practice first round.
Okay. So it's just like a solid 8 questions.
Yeah. So for I think Star Wars, there's 10 and 10. I think for Star Wars,
I got 10 for Star Wars, 8 for 10 for
Innergeekdom. It's 10. I think it's 10 on both. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I think I missed Innergeekdom. I missed. Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of these movies, but I missed like 4, I think, and I just think that's not. When you miss 4, like that's not gonna cut it. You kind of want to blow them away because you don't know how many other people are auditioning. But I was also in character the whole time as Macho Man Randy Savage. Well, Macho Man Kevin Smets. I mean, the whole time, like full deck in character.
Why did you choose that character of all characters to draw inspiration of? Why?
He was it's the Macho Man.
You know what's great?
How could I not? Like, I was a huge fan of his, and I knew that it was also Christian's favorite. So I thought, that'll be a bonus points, But yeah, so I mean, I was in character. Like when they were like, I think one of the questions was they take it from like Schmoedown matches that hadn't aired at the time yet. I think, but I think the one was like, where's the finale? And in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Where's the Hideout? And it was the junkyard, you know, so I'm in character and I'm like, junkyard, like the junkyard, you know, like.
Oh my Lord.
The gimmick was I'll go in there and I'll be a lunatic. I will literally, like, even his idea was I'll come in, he won't tell anyone at the studio that it's me. Like, it'll be this raving lunatic thinks he's the Macho Man and he's doing Schmoedown. But the best part would be, because I would have been studied up, is if I just keep beating everybody in character. Like, that was my vision, is like, could you imagine if this lunatic comes in character as Macho Man and just beats everybody? Everybody's like, this guy's crazy. But at the long story short, I didn't cut it. And I'm glad. I'm thankful. The run that I'm having now would not have happened had I done right.
So. I mean, obviously, like you said, you probably wouldn't have the run that you currently have. Your training wouldn't be as intensive. You know, you wouldn't have been able to study your opponents as effectively, obviously, you know, which is good to know. But, you know, it's just good to train yourself, obviously, you know, mentally, and just like physically and to a certain degree. Now, specifically, you just had, why Navarro? But when you specifically, I know when you came into this, Navarro I think he just left the league when you were in the process of auditioning and everything.
Yeah.
And there was like a handful of smack talk going on Twitter. You know, I remember commenting on it.
Smack talk almost just being borderline harassment to Navarro.
You know what? What is a Schmoedown if not smack talk? On that note, you know.
Listen, why not Navarro? Why not? Listen, I'm here to rumble in the league. Like, I'll take on anyone. I'll take you guys on right now. Let's have a 4-way dance right now. Let's do a special exhibition match right now. I'm ready. I'm in there.
Real.
I'm as a everyone. Like, we want to make a statement. We want to make a statement. We want that. One thing on the wall. Get your questions out.
Smets, I'm glad that you mentioned this because I have 4 whiteboards ready here right now.
How's that going to do with me? I'm on the other side of the country from you. What are you going to do with the whiteboard?
I don't know. What's not going to do a thing with it?
How
we came here to make it.
Toss it at the computer, and that's how it just happens. It just appears in front of you. You know,
why do you have 4? Why would 4 help you out? Why do you have all 4 with you, by the way? You only need 1.
Whoa.
They need their own on their side of the camera.
You're right. I didn't think this one through. Welcome to the Call to Action podcast. We're a low-budget gang. We all stacked it onto me, and it just shipped to my house.
Listen, to answer your Navarro thing, why not Navarro?
You know what? We'll make up for lost time. We'll, do something another time. Absolutely. Okay, but
here's what I'm saying. I'm making a point here. I'm in there. I'll beat anyone. I'll beat anyone and everyone.
Okay,
we call out Navarro because you know, I have that chip on my shoulder has not gone away. If anything, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger when people are doubting me. And Christian didn't deem me worthy to be in the league. He thought that even though, maybe he's not far off with the Macho Man thing, but, he obviously saw the talent was there and he chose not to put me. And, that's why Kaiser, who's a friend of Christian, who's known him for 20 years, like Kaiser, literally that kind of rubbed him the wrong way too, because Kaiser, him and I were working on the same show together when I auditioned, and he's like, wait, my boy Christian didn't put you in like that. So he got me at my ass to the trivia dungeon, but we came in there and I'll beat anyone. We kind of wanted to call out a former champion. I knew I wouldn't be able to get a former champion so recent as Inman, who was not in the league. And obviously when we called out Kalinowski, I think was still champion. And what are the other former champions? We wanted to get a former champion out there to get a little, and I wanted that as my second match. Look, Jay, what happened to Jay happened because he made the mistake of calling me out on Twitter, and then he got his ass knocked out.
Yeah, so, that's embarrassing.
And look, all the credit for all the former champions. Anyway. But I will call out anyone. Kaiser, we called out after the first. After the J match, he said, "Is Rachel in the building? Let's bring her out. She's a friend." But when you're in the ring, it's not about friends. It's all business there. You know what I mean?
Right.
you have friends in the NBA, but they're not taking it easy on each other when they're in the game 7 of the finals, like on the opposite sides of the court. So I come from a sports background. That's why I feel like there should be no ill will. Like if I face Rachel at some point in the future, like what? Like, yeah, like that's the nature of the game now.
So that's an interesting behavior on something that we'll kind of lead into after the match. I don't want to spoil it too soon, but I want you to have a little, and this is a question that you've heard at least a couple of times already, is the question where do you fall on the heel and face spectrum. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We have a whole sweet match to talk about. And we've been talking about Navarro. We talked about Navarro. Get to Navarro, and we finally got it. We have this match dropped down without all the technical stats and details of all of it. We kind of hit some of the highlight reel. So before leading into who won, which we know, but we're not going to say right away. That first round was pretty close between the both of you guys, and then you get and landed on who said it.
Well, I didn't land on it. I got
opponent's choice into who said it rather.
Yeah.
That's a pretty dicey category.
Yeah, I mean, my whole strategy was to take MCU off the board for him. So I chose to spin first. If you notice, I always defer. I deferred in my first 2 matches. I deferred as long as I could in the MCU match.
Winners usually do defer.
It's the classic action strategy.
They usually do.
It's going to be so much nicer facing people that don't have only one strength, because I'm going to go back to deferring if I'm in the lead, because I don't want to worry about it. But I was trying to get MCU off the table. I knew if I can get MCU off the table for Navarro, he'd be in trouble. MCU or DC. So that's why I chose to spin first, because I was strong on MCU, as well. So I didn't get that. I got opponent's choice. So kind of came back. And who said it obviously is known as being one of the harder slices. I wasn't a fan of seeing that when I saw the wheel. Who said it in my training? That's also one that it's a hard one to kind of prepare for, especially when you're hearing someone else say it. Like,
right.
When Ken Knapsack is saying a quote from Dumbledore, it's kind of like,
you don't really hear Dumbledore's voice on that. Yeah, their voice or something like that.
And also with who said it, they give you a whole. It's not like who said it in the world of Star Trek. They'll be like, who said it, and then they'll say a random line like the one that I got wrong. We are your family now. And I went to multiple choice, and it was the only one that I missed in that second round, and that was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was Shredder. It's like, but what the line is like, we are together, we are family now, and it's one out of every movie in the spectrum.
I just want to say, I love how you can't just say it. You had to say it with your voice. I don't know if that's something you're consciously say. Okay, now I have to switch over to this voice, but it's magical.
Okay,
I was a super fan.
That almost brings a valid question though too.
Sorry.
That brings a valid point though with who said it lines. It's almost the thing where I almost prefer the commentators at least try to do an it's kind of leading, because if they did impersonation, then they would kind of do that.
In every category you have, they literally will tell you in 2009, blah blah blah.
Right.
Usually, or in the world of Middle Earth, this is one where it's literally all of them, and it's a needle in a haystack, which is why it's really impressive when people pull good questions out of that. So who said it is one. The thing about me though is everybody's been when I landed on it, I wasn't happy about it, but I still felt pretty confident that I could do okay. But it meant when I landed on it, if you watch the tape, I was like, well, it's not going to be an easy second round then. You know what I mean? Like I had the others. It was good to get that test out of the way.
100%. Obviously you're human. We're all human. Our man Guy isn't human because he's superior. He's a superior being. He's a god. But I digress.
Love that.
Yeah.
But regardless, okay. So going into this, obviously every player has strengths and weaknesses. And honestly, at this time, I feel like we have yet to find yours. But in the next coming matches, you have a lot of really high intense matches coming up, obviously. And so I'm hoping that we're gonna find a weakness of yours. I hate to say, hey,
I would keep looking
like that, but I want to find one of yours. I
think Hector thought that who said it would be a weakness for me. I'm not going to say that I thought it would be a weakness for me, but I know it's not a strength. But I think that just goes to show that I'm kind of dangerous at the wheel. There's several wheel slices that I aim for. And to be honest, the ones that I've aimed for the most, I still haven't landed on it. And so, yeah. So
dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Oh
So do the math. There's already 3 that I.
We're gonna be crunching all these numbers. We're gonna be looking like Frank Janis here after the show's done, watching that video, trying to figure out these weaknesses. But there is one. I would say that there's a lot of pride to take coming out of this match, because not only is this is a prophecy fulfilled for your character coming into the show. I mean, short of getting the Innergeekdom belt, the first thing you did was you came in, you crushed, and it was, where's Navarro? So getting to this point, leading into as this match rounds out, you do end up walking away with the W on this one. Literally walking away with the W. You just left. Left.
Look, it's all business for me. Like, it was nice. Like you said, it was a good capper on my entrance to the league. If you were going to say it was a 3-match story to get to Navarro, we call out Navarro, then Jay interrupts, then we get Navarro, and I beat him. But like, this is the way that my mentality is. This is the way it is in the dungeon. Like, literally, the second that I won, and later, like, what's next? And I call out Navarro, or I call out Kalinowski. Like, it just goes to show, like, it's nothing's personal in this. Like, I'm not sitting around there trying to, like, who do I not like and I want to face? Like, no, it's like I needed to prove myself. That's why I called out Navarro in the first match. I would have had him on the second, and it would have been the same result. Hector's a funny guy. He's great. He draws great pictures on the boards, but he wasn't laughing after that match. And so now it's, for me, it's the next one in the way, Destination San Diego, as I've said, and that's Kalinowski. So literally the second that I knocked Navarro out, Navarro was literally an afterthought, and it's like Kalinowski instantaneously. Like, second I left that studio, that's what it was.
Okay, well, Kalinowski specifically, I mean, I feel like you've been wanting Kalinowski. I know you've been very vocal from the beginning about Navarro, and, we're crazy psyched to finally get a little bit of resolution, for finding how that goes. However, you have been calling out Kalinowski for quite a bit as well. And, obviously you can't deny your stats. Your accuracy rates is bonkers high. I think technically it is above Cushing at this time, current, obviously, belt holder champion. But you haven't faced that, like I mentioned, I know during when we were chatting earlier, is that you haven't faced yet that upper tier of players yet. And I know, obviously, your stats confirm that you're already there. Obviously, you have the knowledge, but actually sitting across from them at the table, that is a whole other situation there. The psychology behind you guys as players, it's, going to be definitely going to be hugely impactful. And not only that, the interviews prior, I mean, obviously before and after. Yeah. So it's at that point, it's definitely a mind game. And also during the free for all, you guys had a nice little pissing contest.
Yeah.
Eyeing each other up, and I appreciate that. So, when you do face Kalinowski, I feel like this is definitely going to be a much bigger reaction. We all already knew. We all kind of like already have think what we know is going to happens with you versus Navarro, but you and Kalinowski. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, for me, something to get out of my. It's like I've always been building these big round 1 leads, and I know that won't happen with Kalinowski. Like, not at all. It was good to be out there, running drills, as we said, during the MCU match, because both Rachel and Mike were there. And so Mike and I literally tied at the end. We ended at 28, I think. So I'm no stranger of what it's like to be up on stage in the lights with these heavyweights now. So as far as that goes, the aura of Kalinowski doesn't concern me at all. I think Kalinowski. Why is
that?
What's that?
Why is that, do you think?
I just think that Kalinowski's busy with corruption. He has so many things going on, and with all these distractions.
So you don't think his eyes on the prize, then?
Yeah, I don't have distractions. You know what I mean? I'm Clubber Lang. Like, I'm sitting in there watching Kalinowski get all the praise and glory when I got my ass sent to the fan leagues, and I'm sitting there while Kalinowski's a title holder, and I'm like, that should be me, And so, meantime, I've been training and studying, and no one has a harder study ethic than me. I guarantee you that. And so, as far as Kalinowski goes, I think that sometimes he can get a little in his head if something doesn't go his way early on in a match. If someone challenges him, you can see it in his face. He gets rattled. And that's something for me that I've been working hard at not getting rattled. I'm not going to say I've never been rattled before, but coming from a sports background, those are things that I try to incorporate into my game. I'll watch game tape literally and see, like, I know when in my head I get an answer. In the MCU match, the one question I missed, that bugs me because I knew the answer. I said the wrong movie.
So, I mean, in that case, do you feel like you're going to be, like you said, you don't get rattled all that much?
No.
Or at least you're actively trying not to get rattled. It's something you're consciously working on, which is like very, I feel like it's
Jay Washington called me a bitch. Jay Washington called me a bitch before our match.
Well, honestly,
I sat there like, what am I
Jay Washington's called us all a bitch on Facebook too. It's okay.
I mean,
He's like, let me put this bitch out. And I'm like, great, now my niece can't watch this episode. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like how so in that case, and I know it's just kind of branching into our next question, how you don't describe yourself as a heel, but considering yourself as someone that doesn't get rattled easily, and you do have this facade, essentially. You know, this visual. I mean, you got the hoodie. You come out with the gloves. You came out with Kaiser.
I don't want to cramp when I'm riding. I need the gloves.
You have this you're having this weird Bane moment, which I'm living for. You know, for sure.
Look, we are
opportunity
ass kickers. Like, we don't care if you're heel, hero, a good guy, bad guy. My friend or my enemy, like, whoever 5 lines up, I'm gonna knock them out. I come out there. Look, I'm not there to that's why I have Kaiser. Kaiser can say, they asked me, like, what do you think?
Right.
I don't care what Kaiser. I'm not his babysitter. Like,
that's the thing. I mean, he talks a lot for you.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you know, I mean, similarly to how Washington does for Ethan Irwin, you know, I mean, he's your mouthpiece. And Kaiser has a much more, I mean, and you, like you mentioned, you don't describe yourself as a heel, even though the visuals say otherwise, you know, looking like a Batman villain.
The visual says otherwise. We have a manager who we would probably argue is a heel. Rather, I mean, I wouldn't say there's any argument on that. I would even say it's a spectrum.
The fans.
So maybe you're not a heel.
Where are you? Where are you on this match?
Line?
Yeah, we have a guy over here, maximum heel, maximum cushion, his face. Where are you on this? Huh?
Okay.
Me even answering the question is gonna I'm not giving up this. Listen, the fact is, I don't care who they line up. Okay. It could be a good guy, a bad guy. You could put me up against Mother Teresa. You could put me against Cushing, and
however, again, even if you individually are not the heel.
Yeah, I don't care what people think I am. I don't care what me. I appreciate that people need to put me in any way. If they want to think of me as a heel, they can think of me as a heel. If people want to say, "Oh, we love this guy, he's a face." The fact is, I can't think of that when I'm in my match. Like, all I have to think about is next time.
Totally understandable.
So I would say I agree with your points that maybe some of the characteristics that I do, but look, that's just because I come out there and I do business. Like, it's all business for me. Like, it's all business for Kaiser. So we don't care. Like, our fans know what time it is. Like, they know if they want to be a fan of us because we do well and we kick ass, that's fine. If they want to not like us because we do well and kick ass, that's fine too. If they don't like me because of my hoodie or because I have a scowl on my face, the scowl on my face, I'm not kissing babies there. I don't have any other goal than to answer.
I respect that tremendously.
I don't even care. I don't even need to hear "and you're winner." Like, it's just like, okay, done. What's next?
Well, we saw that in today's match, or whatever today's match.
Yeah, for a second. Yeah, give me Kalinowski. I don't need to be there. I don't need to hear them "and you're winner." Look, there was an old Kevin. The old Kevin wanted to be there, and he wanted to smile for the camera, and you know, whether it was going to be Macho Man.
Macho Man is totally gone.
Yeah, like the old Kevin is dead. As far as be there and being
Taylor Swift.
But I don't care if I'm loved. I don't care if I'm hated. I'm gonna do my thing, and you guys can come. You guys come on for the ride. Like, and I appreciate. Listen, I was a fan. I came from being a fan to doing this, so I appreciate and respect anyone who wants to cheer me or boo me. Like, it's their decision. But I'm not sitting here telling you that I'm going to have the mustache with the curl and I'm going to, say all these mean things. The only things I'm going to say are the correct answers to the round 1 questions, and then the correct answers to the round 2 questions. And then if they ever ask me a round 3 question one day, God, I'll answer the correct answers for that too.
Whew. Well, that time may be coming here not too long from now, with what we are anticipating as a Kalinowski match coming up between you. You know, you mentioned.
Hey, look, I haven't heard if that's going to happen.
I'm guessing. I mean, who's left?
It's inevitable.
Right.
Kalinowski knows we're coming. He's not stupid. That's why he was doing the whole thing on stage, like, come up here, man. Like, I'm a rookie. That was at the time of the free-for-all, like, the J match hadn't even aired yet. Like, so why is he like, I'm a nobody to him, but he's sitting there staring me down because he knows he's worried about it. So he knows that I'm coming. It's inevitable, as they would say.
Well, and in your words, he does get visibly shaken. Yeah. I don't want to say easily, but he does when
not easily. No, let me correct. Yeah. Not easily, but he can get in his head.
Absolutely. So in that case, now, like you mentioned, your Kalinowski is part of corruption.
By the way, he can get rattled and it can get in his head, but it can also make him better too. I'm going to clarify that. Like,
we've seen that get sharp. I mean, we look back on that title match against Cushing, and it only made him better in that.
That title match, like that's why there's no counting him out. Like I was in the crowd for that title match, so I was there. The mood in that studio before the speed round was crazy quiet, crazy, like what the hell is happening? And so I do want to credit KO. I mean, I am not taking. I don't take anyone.
Oh no, yeah.
As far as KO, when I say he gets in his head, like it's just he can, but he can also turn that into a positive, and be stronger than ever. So it's like, do you want to piss him off? Do you want a challenge and maybe get a challenge, and then that makes him even more, dedicated to kicking your ass? Or do you maybe let the challenge go if you think it might be one way or the other anyway? So like, there's all strategy. I think of it coming from sports, like how I would approach it. I'm not a heel or face or whatever. One thing I'm not going to do is be a cheap shot. I'm not going to sit there and, do underhanded tricks or try to like get someone upset. Like, I respect the game too much. I go in there, I'm confident in my own abilities that I don't need to do any of that. That's what I don't like about corruption, and why I think those are all a bunch of knuckleheads, like just sitting there and, running their mouth and, the gang mentality and all that. Like,
well, like you said, I mean, you come from a sports background. I mean, like you mentioned, you are used to working part of a team. Are you excited to finally be part of a faction that's kind of a team environment, possibly again? I mean, Kaiser possibly recruiting this new team situation between Zipper and Oyama.
Well,
happening there.
Kaiser doesn't just sign anyone. Kaiser doesn't just sign anyone. Let me tell you the story with that. Look, he hit pocketed him for sure. He's going to give him a shot. Obviously, Oyama is one hell of a talented kid. We've seen that. I think he's really strong. I think, the guys from the fan leagues, they call me a fan league player, but like I literally was sent to the fan leagues, and I did well there. And there's some great people in the fan leagues that I do appreciate and love, that are friends to this day. Many that I know are coming up in the ranks, and there's a couple that I know who they are, and I'm looking forward to that. But I'll say, as far as that goes, Oyama, he'd be one hell of a get. But again, Kaiser doesn't just sign anyone. He brought me into the trivia dungeon because, like, I've been friends with him for so long. As far as Zipper goes, I will say the reason why I think Kaiser kind of, I think Kaiser always knows what he's doing. I think Kaiser and I kind of got to know Zip a little bit at Free For All. And he was a cool dude. Like, I consider him one of my friends now. And so, like, we've had beers together and stuff like that. So I think for Kaiser, bringing him into the fold, it's kind of like we saw what corruption did. Like, Zipper thought, he's being told one thing, and then he goes in and they do that, just to embarrass him? Like, how's that going to get anyone any better? Like that, what did they do that only piss Zipper off even more? And that's going to get him more focused. What did Harloff do to me when he sent me to the minors? It made me so focused, changing the way that I studied, and I came back stronger than ever. You don't think that, just because Grace and Kalinowski got to have a laugh at Zipper's expense, that Zipper's not going to come back pissed off? Like, you kidding? And now let's say Kaiser decides to sign him, and now Kaiser brings Zipper into the dungeon. You don't think that listen, they're going to regret what they did to Zipper, one way or the other, even without Kaiser, because like I said, Zipper's a friend, and I know his mindset. I know he can get a little upset at times, and people say that he whines or whatever. Like, no, man, like he got a bad.
Yes, James. Looking at you, buddy. You're in the shadows, but you know what you did.
He got a bad shake. He got a bad shake with corruption.
I totally agree where you're coming from, Kevin. It's, it is, I can't imagine, honestly, being as involved as he is. I can't imagine being in that situation because it sucks. And not to mention, I remember watching that that video that Winston posted a while ago of World's Finest of the comic book with that song. It was magical. It was so good. I watched it like 3 times. But and obviously things are going through a transition. A lot of things are changing. You're about to play some former champions. You maybe will be a champion. Who the heck knows? Not
maybe.
To mention
What are you talking about? Get that talk out of here.
Wait, I'm sorry. Okay,
I'm already booked for San Diego.
Matches. That doesn't mean you're gonna be a fucking champion. Do I think you're gonna be a champion? I think
language. Come on.
Yeah, it's all about in the words.
I don't know.
I think what Alex is trying to say is that you've proven that you are obviously of the same tier thus far of the champions. You're up here with Kalinowski.
I don't think some of these guys think it though. I think Kalinowski grossly I think he knows we're coming. But I think in public and when he's talking to people, he's probably thinking, "Oh, this rookie, I'm a flash in the pan," or whatever he's going to say. That's just not something that I think he's going to be. He's not going to sit there and be like, "Oh, I respect what Kevin's done." I think Rachel would. Rachel's a friend. I think Rachel would think it's deserved, but I think Kalinowski's going to come in there with his big gang, and they're going to try to be all intimidating, and that's just not going to work with me.
And I think that's so much of Corruption's game in itself, though, too, is just to sit there and kind of put that antic in your head that you're the underdog going in. And realistically, that may be the case with the experience sake of it, because Kalinowski is a former champion, and that's something that you haven't attained yet. But
of course.
This is something, again, that, as you mentioned, you are very clear-cut. You're not about the politics of this game. You're sitting here, you go in, and you just go in to win. And I think that...
I answer questions, I leave next. That's it.
Right, and if Kalinowski didn't think you were a threat...
Political on your behalf, so it's okay.
Right.
Yeah, I can, he can do all that. He can do all the talking and stuff like that. And you know what? As far as being in a faction, look, I'm no stranger to being on, teams, when I was younger. And then also, I've coached too. So I've coached for marathon and Ironman teams, the Ironman races and stuff like that. So I know what it's like when you get that, when you have the people in your corner. There's nothing better than that. So, but the people in my corner I want are, I have Kaiser obviously, and it's people that I think are deserving of it. That's why Kaiser's, got to give him a shot. He's not just signing them, but I think that they can be I think both Zipper and Paul are very talented, and I think they're great. So, to answer your question though, I don't think we necessarily need 50 people, and you see these interviews now with Corruption, there's 50 people. They can't even fit them all.
It's a little noxious at this point. Absolutely.
Yeah, they have a basketball team with the players there.
Yeah, that's what's gonna make it so sweet when if Kalinowski gives me a shot and then I can beat him. It's I'm not gonna get 17 people in that post interview. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not gonna lie. It's a little bonkers, but they have a very clear message. They're not here to play, or as you like to say, they're more likely here to really just get their message there. That it feels like they're more about they're all talk, no play. Versus you're all play, very little talk.
Yeah.
So
they back it up too.
Anti-corruption mentality, but I feel like it's a little subconscious, whether intentional or not. Okay. Yeah. But whether it's like you mentioned, it's not you, it's more like Kaiser and whatever this Zipper Oyama situation, what that's gonna be. But it sounds like, like you mentioned, going into this, I know you, like you said, you're an athlete. You're coaching, you're being part of teams and everything, but you also, you said yourself, you're a big fucking nerd.
Yeah. That's the thing. The number one day people talk about my study things and what I have done.
I love it.
They are insane, but that's not the thing that makes me dangerous, man. The thing that makes me dangerous is that I can't watch Green Lantern 5 times.
Nor should you.
No one should. That's what they show in prison.
I was there, for people to talk about oh well, maybe when you study it's just because you study you have flashcards. A, that's not all I have, but B, No, it's like I'm a fan. When I was growing up, I waited till midnight to get the Harry Potter books. I joined Pottermore. I'm a Slytherin. You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
yeah. So I guess I am a heel. I'm a Slytherin, right?
We're all heels, guys. It's Team Slytherin at core.
Dylan, are you a Slytherin? I need to
know
know.
I'm a Slytherin. You know I'm a Slytherin.
Thank God.
Yeah. Are we all Slytherin here? Are we all in the same house? That's
no. James says filthy Slytherin.
Gryffindor.
James says Gryffindor. Some shit.
What a Boy Scout.
Hufflepuff. Get the fuck out of here.
If I ever heard it.
No.
That is some serious.
I'm a fan first and foremost. Like, and there are movies, like, I actually don't mind. I actually like the director's cut of Green Lantern. I know way too much about. I've read the Lord of the Rings books too many times to mention. I know I've seen these movies. I have gone around the sun of all these movies so many times since my audition. You can't do that if you're not a fan. So everybody can talk about studying, but at the end of the day, like, I'm a geek at heart. So I'm just a geek that goes in there and wears a hoodie and answers Harry Potter questions.
Boom. About it. I mean, you have some serious matches coming up. I mean, I'm pretty psyched about whatever this whole situation with this potential Kalinowski match, whenever it will happen, or also there's a really awesome exhibition match coming up, which is going to be mind-blowing. Oh my gosh.
Harry Potter coming up at the end of the month.
Potter exhibition match. Can you tell us any little details about that at all?
I don't even know if I'm in it, to be honest, so I can't tell you.
What?
All right.
I think, listen, a betting man, if they want it to be, yeah, I mean, maybe they don't want me in there if they want it to be competitive. So I don't know. I haven't missed a Harry Potter question. I have seen those. Like, speaking of those, I've read all the books. I've seen those movies so many times. I know I know way too much about those movies. So here's the thing: if they give me the call for any of the exhibition matches, I'm gonna always be a yes, because again, coming from sports background, it's a
competitiveness.
Yeah, well, not, you know what? No, like, I want to win when I go out there, but
you're honing skills at that point for free. You don't have to risk that record.
It's like a scrimmage. Like, all of a sudden, I get practice. Like, for a perfect example, the MCU match. I know it's Patreon only, but I missed one of the questions, and it was, what is the opening song in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? And you can hear them specifically say Volume 2. I watch game tape. I see my eye dart literally halfway through the question, which means I know that my brain is coming up with the answer before I hear Volume 1 or 2. And so then I went all in. Even though I probably heard Volume 2, I was so still in my brain saying Volume 1 that I answered the correct answer for Volume 1, but it was for Volume 2. I missed the question. That's actually a 4-point turnaround. Had I got that right by actually really waiting and not getting excited like I tend to do and answer the questions, I would have gotten that right, which meant that it would have just been me and Sean at the end, which that would have tied us up. Mike knocked me out at free for all. I knocked him out in the MCU. It didn't happen. So, yeah. So, well, I guess I don't know if that matched the spoiler. Whatever. Long story short.
It's already aired. Yeah, I think it officially dropped for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, for me though, so like I said, I'll say yes to any exhibition match, because it's just, I've lesson learned now from that MCU match. So if they want me to do any other MCU, or any other exhibition matches, I'm down, because I'd rather make those mistakes then. And then, I want to win, by the way. I'm not going in those matches not to win.
Right.
I want to make it.
Oh, sorry, Dylan. Did you say something?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of in the whole realm of this geekdom, and this is something that I do want to kind of flesh out more. Still staying somewhat relevant to Schmoedown. Obviously, we know that we had an article with you not too long ago. We Trivia SD plugs Bib, who watches our video recently and commentary. I'm watching you, Bib. I'm a big fan. But we saw where you had the Star Wars as your favorite topic. And you were very big on that. So that does lead to the question: are we potentially ever going to see Kevin Smets in Star Wars and any other leagues? What's it looking like?
Listen,
we need to know, Smets.
We need a hot take right now.
Christian knows the second Christian knows the second he calls me for Star Wars, I'm in. Like,
you heard it here, folks.
We got confirmed.
You heard it here.
Exclusive. Yeah, look, I have a chip on my shoulder from the very beginning for not getting in. But one thing, it was originally my desire to be in the Star Wars League at first. Right. So for me, getting full circle,
man.
you know, I have business to attend to now. Let me get that title first in the Innergeekdom, and then we'll see. I don't know what the future, you know, I actually liked the challenge at Free For All. I wasn't, I had really last minute notice, like really last minute. So I didn't really have a lot of time to prep, and I like to go a little more confident. So as far as like singles or teams, you know, if I get enough lead time, I wouldn't ever say no. I just want to perform at my best. But Star Wars, I know. I mean, Star Wars is the one thing. It's funny because people are like, you could be in Star Wars, but you missed a gimme against Jay. But like, it's because Star Wars I have seen 10,000 times that when I have a specific list of movies I need to see before my next match or things to focus on, it's hard for me to sit and watch Attack of the Clones, you know, for a 10,000. It's the worst. It's horrible anyway. But like, but like, it's hard for me to. So that's of course that I miss. You know, that's when you can miss. Like,
I mean, like I said, it's obviously there's so many movies you need to see. I mean, there's so much knowledge you got to pack in that ridiculous brain of yours.
Especially with Star Wars.
Now, I know you're focusing on IG, Star Wars, whatever it may be, you know, to be announced or whatever it may be. Now, and I know that's like your real focus, but I mean, like, what, and seeing these movies, like, just for the millionth time, what other movies or genres or whatever do you like to watch to kind of break out of that, you know, mind fuck that's going on?
I mean, when I'm in full training mode, it's tough because you're literally watching a movie for the umpteenth time, and you're
for work too.
You could almost recite it, like, and it's tough. So whenever I see anything that I haven't seen before, it feels like a treat. Like, I go into any movie and love it because I'm like, I've never seen this before. Like, or even like just, you know, like watching, I haven't seen Big Bang Theory in like a year. Let me watch 122 minutes. It's the biggest 22 minutes of freedom ever. But still my brain will still be like, oh, who's the actor that walked in the door? Oh, she's drinking a diet soda. Like, my brain is so trained differently now that it dips into like whatever. But to answer your question, like, literally it's always been like geek movies, but like my favorite movies of all time, kind of going like the war genre. Like Glory is my favorite movie, Edswick.
Wow.
Movie. That's like my number one. That actually got me like really hardcore into like movies and wanting to be in the industry. I don't know if you ever seen it with Denzel Washington. It's really good. And then, and you know, Star Wars actually. So I'd say like, as far as regular movies though, like I love Tarantino. I actually like. I can't wait for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Oh my god!
Oh god, that's gonna be this summer. I could sit here and have a whole podcast just about the summer upcoming movies. Literally these next couple of weeks. I might just even touch on one or two of them just because I'm that excited. John Wick's coming up. Aladdin's next.
My friends
I feel nothing for that movie.
For which one?
I feel nothing. I saw the trailer like 5 times, and I think it's funny, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, like that moment where he's like, "You did some good acting" or whatever, and he's on the verge of tears. That's a cute moment, but just everything going on behind the scenes, I just don't like Quentin Tarantino as a person, and I understand I understand when it comes to movies, it's a huge production. It's not just him. Hundreds of people are involved in these, not only just actors, production and editing and everything. There's so much involved. I just don't like him, and I feel like 95% of the time it comes through in the movie. My cat is yelling through the door.
Cat like Tarantino, obviously.
Yeah, Tarantino.
I don't know if you can hear my cat.
Pulp Fiction is the top 5 everything.
I'll watch if you guys shoot a home movie. If you shoot a home movie. And just send it to me, I'll watch it, and I won't have to take notes on it or study it. Like, it's fantastic.
Okay. So I mean, it sounds like you do like war movies.
Yeah, for sure.
What's a guilty pleasure movie for you? Like shitty movie, campy movie, cult movie, whatever. Movie that you feel bad that you have to admit that you like, that no one else likes.
Now, how am I going to be a heel with wearing a hoodie telling you this? But my buddies would make fun of me. They would call me, like, whenever I would like have a commentary. Usually I like everything, by the way. I'm like, I would be the worst movie pundit or reviewer because, like, I just figure it's 2 hours I'm going to spend in a different world, whether I enjoy it or not. Like, you know, I don't freak out and like get upset about things. So, but like my friends, whenever I'd be like, oh, that movie's okay, they'd be like, shut up, Made in Manhattan. Because like I actually like romantic comedy. Made in Manhattan is a good movie. Watch it, it's good. Like it's
you know what? I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. It's a delight. It's cute. It's cute.
James is screaming from the void, yes, by the way. For anybody who can't see this video.
Good. It's a good uphill story. But yeah, that would be a total guilty pleasure.
I mean, like J-Lo. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I actually thought that Geely wasn't bad. Like it's not good. Right. But like, I say it's the worst movie of all time. Like, I like Jersey. I love Jersey Girl when the girl runs on stage and then
it has its moments.
Love that.
It's not perfect, but it has its moments.
And J-Lo really leveled up from Anaconda in that time period. You know, I mean, she had to get some street cred from there to there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even like
Jersey. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was like, people hate on Jersey Girl, but like, I really like that movie too.
Yeah,
like
Jersey Girl's fine.
Yeah, like I think like that one scene where like she gives birth and it's a happy moment and then it turns into a horrific moment all in one cut is largely underrated. Like that, you know what I mean? So yeah, a guilty pleasure would be like romantic comedies, but you know what I mean?
Exhibition match coming in hot.
Right.
No, I don't think I know more about
Guy.
Yeah, Guy did excellent in that. That is his rise to shine against Merle, but we're not going to talk about Guy.
Makes you feel good when people find love. Come on.
You know what? A girl can dream. Who knows? Come next February, never know what's going to happen. Okay, just saying, it would be perfect for February.
I love the idea. Whoever said it, was that you?
Exhibition match. Come in.
Do it on Valentine's Day. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I can't wait to do a Deadpool one on Valentine's Day.
Call off. Listen up. What up? Okay, so I mean, obviously, like you mentioned, cult movies, guilty pleasures, and everything. Now, just kind of moving on to some like the bigger movies.
Bigger? Oh yeah.
Wait, no, scratch that. You know what? Do you have a pet pig?
Oh yeah.
Hold on. Well, it's not mine. I don't. It's Kaiser's. It's Piggy Smalls is the name. He's basically our mascot. Yeah.
Why have we not seen this?
So we have seen.
Bring it out to the set one day for a match.
I have not seen this.
I got this here. So Kaiser had put out a promo video onto the Schmoedown thing. I was telling James about this before this interview started. And Kaiser was walking Piggy Smalls, which, by the way, I fucking adore that name. And so he's walking the pig, and he's mentioning, I think he might have mentioned in it that it was yours, or I guess it's his. I don't know. It's all very confusing. But I will say, shout out to my wife, Hannah Camacho. She will occasionally like and watch these videos for 5 seconds, has no clue what we're talking about. But Kevin Smets is the #1 fan because my wife saw that you have a pig, at least as a mascot. And she
we got a pig in the trivia dungeon. So, he helps us out.
What is going on in that trivia dungeon, Smets?
I can't tell you, man. It's like Kaiser said, it's a box of Twizzlers, 2-day-old coffee, and every piles of flashcards, and it's crazy town down there. But it's working.
Well, I mean, this summer, obviously, like you mentioned, every movie known to man, and this summer we have a ridiculous amount of crazy action, crazy.
Oh, that new romantic comedy. What was that?
What?
The new romantic comedy you're talking about?
Aladdin.
I wish.
Romantic comedy.
I don't want to cry today, Dylan. So let's not bring up Aladdin. Is there any particular movies that you are really excited to see this summer?
Oh, yeah. Well, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what the other big one in the slate that I'm excited for. Now I can't.
I can run them all down for you.
Yeah, run them down.
Dark Phoenix, Far From Home, Godzilla, John Wick 3, Aladdin, Lion King.
Oh, you know what? Guilty. Yeah, I would say like John Wick, obviously, and then Lion King. I think that's going to be cool too. I love that as a kid. I want to see Hakuna Matata live action. Come on. I mean, I love that.
I just really want to see Childish Gambino, seeing what he's going to do as like really sexy Simba. I just need to know what's going on there.
That's going to be a sculpture.
With Beyonce as Nala. Oh.
This is Africa. Don't you slip in there.
Okay, so Godzilla, but also I'm a big monster girl. I love any movie with monsters. I am here for it. But also, I mean, they have like glowing lights and shit. I'm so excited.
Oh, Mothra's looking sweet. All the monsters are looking sweet on Godzilla. We could turn this into a Godzilla podcast because most of us have an Asian background to it. So I don't know if it's a love-hate relationship with Godzilla.
All Asian.
Everybody but Whitewash James over here.
Righty. Yeah.
I mean, I would say Dark Phoenix and Far From Home. It's the problem is with these movies now, for me, is just seeing them on the slate. I just think of how many times I'm going to end up seeing them later. So, like,
does your brain just go trivia with
movies now?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean the questions in IG get any less deep. Like, they're still deep. So it's just like,
well, great. Pretty soon. Who knows? Detective Pikachu might be on. It's going to be on. I'm sure. IG question at some point.
I don't.
What if you are you going to wait to see it in like the fall?
For the Pikachu movie? No, I've heard. So yeah, I mean, honestly, like right now, I feel this is how crazy focused I am. Like until July 22nd or July 20th, Comic-Con. Like if I'm not watching geek movies, like I'm not training for the Endgame. Sweet Endgame reference there.
Hey.
So it's hard for me to get out to the movies without feeling a tinge of guilt, being like, well, I mean, I should see this, but I should actually watch Sin City: A Dame to Kill for a 30th time, you know? So I do need to get out there. I mean, obviously I do. I have a new, for my next match, like I have some, it's funny, like the more times I go around the sun of all these movies, the more now I'm watching it and stuff is getting from my short-term memory into my long-term memory, which it wasn't happening at first. Like in the fan leagues, I would prep and do all the index cards. And then I would just regurgitate it out. And then the next day, like I could barely remember half of it. And then like each time I study, so it's like, I told this to Christian once when the Navarro match was finally signed or whatever, and I was just like stoked. And then I said, "And you mean I get another? What I forget how long it was, 3 or 4 weeks?" And I'm like, "I get another 4 weeks to get even better. Like every time I'm coming in, I'm better. I'm getting better and better." So people thought I was good in the debut. Like just wait till San Diego, as I plan to be there. Hopefully.
Right.
Oh man.
I don't see how you wouldn't be at this rate. It seems that you've just been literally a freight train that is unstoppable on this Innergeekdom path to the title. There are some pretty massive roadblocks ahead the way, but that doesn't mean that you're not capable of getting through it. That just means
like Kirk said in Star Trek, he says, "Why is there a mountain? Why do we climb mountains? Because it's there." So it's from a bad Trek movie. See, I watched too many of these movies.
But see, even bad Trek movies have good quotes. Like which is probably part of the reason why Who Said It is so damn hard, because so many heroic quotes could be interchangeable between characters to characters. Like,
absolutely.
A Cap quote could just as easily be a Captain Picard quote at the end of the day.
But Far From Home, I think, is one that I'm looking forward to in the summer, just because like it's going to be basically a sequel to Endgame. Yeah. I have a problem about people hating on Endgame for their time travel, if I may, real quick.
Yeah, please.
Everybody, like, I love that it was simple. It's like, you create a new thing, it's a new thread. That means that, well, spoilers, whatever. I won't say the main thing.
Spoilers.
But the thing is, like, they made the time travel simple, and that's great. And people complaining about, well, that's not realistic in time travel. Think about Tony in his chess piece. He has at least 475.
There's a bunch of aliens. Thor is an alien. I mean, and there's gods, and there's an alien invasion, and anyway, regardless.
Yeah. Don't come to me bitching about the time travel is not realistic. When you have a missile silo in Tony's chess piece. Come on.
Smets, I mean, if there's anything you learn from Innergeekdom,
that's what it does.
Is that we're so picky about suspending what we want to believe and what we don't want to believe as geeks.
Yeah. That's true. But Howard the Duck, wasn't Howard the Duck in it? So it's like, come on.
Yes.
Yeah. He's technically canon in the Marvel universe.
He was actually hidden during the A-Team
montage.
The montage on that one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Absolutely.
Do you think there was any coffee cups in Endgame that we didn't see?
Oh man, I heard they took that out now, huh?
Yeah, they edited it.
They edited up Game of Thrones. All right, we're getting a little miscellaneous on our talk, so I'll go ahead and just start to hone it in a little bit. Not that I don't enjoy my time with you, Kevin Smets. This has been an absolute blast, first and foremost. But I will start to wrap up with our lovely interview with you, and I'll pose a question at you. So.
Kaiser's going to be on the Iron Throne to answer your question there.
Shit. Oh, all right. Well, there it is.
I'll be the hand, Kaiser.
So, coming up, and this is very unrelated to Schmoedown, but only somewhat related. Me and James, one of my co-hosts in the void over here, have a little bet right now that who can win in Innergeekdom match. So we are going to run through all of your questions between you and Navarro, and whoever I guess has the most points wins and gets bragging rights for fucking nothing, I guess. But
yay!
Who's your bet? Who's your bet on that right now?
I've met James in person, so I'm gonna go with him because he's a living, breathing human being that I don't know if you're real. You could be CGI for all I know.
Real, and you hear that?
Damn right.
Hey, I have a prediction for you. You both aren't gonna score as high as me, so bring your A game. Bring your A game with all your full boards you have.
That's a bold prediction. That'll probably be
right. I would be very sad considering. But it was like I can't remember. Am I going to be hosting that match between you and James?
We'll figure out the details here soon. That one's coming up in the. We know the match is happening. I guess you could just sit there and kind of just be the person watching us scream at each other for the entire time. If you really want to see two heels go at it, and we'll claim more heels who aren't even in a Schmoedown, we may upload that video. I'm sure we're actually probably going to do an upload. I don't know. James in the void. Can you answer that in the chat?
I'm not a heel or a face. I'm the smasher.
That's right.
You're okay, Daenerys Stormlord.
Break her up the spectrum.
I am not just a femme. Okay, what was that line? It's like I break the wheel. And are you? So it sounds like you're just essentially trying to break this whole hierarchy, this whole idea of faces versus the heels, and you're just like, you know what? Fuck it. I will be whoever needs to be brought down. I will do it. I'm the smasher, and you're going down. That's what it sounds like to me as a fan.
Whoever's holding the title, like that's what I want. It's all about the title. Like if I'm a heel and a good guy has the title, okay. If I'm a heel and a heel has the title, like why would that change it? Like anything that I do, like I just go in there, I'm focused. It's all business and it's nothing personal. So it's going to be nothing personal to Rachel if I go into San Diego and I take the title from her. It's going to be nothing personal to Kalinowski if I go and I beat him and don't get, and he has to cancel his ticket to San Diego. So either way, I'm not going in here, trying to do one thing or the other. I'm just going in there and I'm, doing my job and getting out of there. Whatever other things that are going on, all that is just fluff, and it's like stuff that I can't be distracted from. Because that's not my game.
Well, while you don't have a championship belt yet, you are speaking like a true champion right now, Smets. And I think that we can all agree on that. That focus is intense. The work that you put into this has been crazy.
A true future potential champion.
Yep, that is on the board. We will not.
Gotta prove.
And
I'm excited for you to prove.
Oh, I will.
Who doubts you wrong? I'm excited for you to kick everyone's ass. I really am.
And the more people that doubt me is like that. Just nothing. Sinatra, the greatest revenge is massive success. Like there's people that have doubted me. There's still people in the league now that are like, there's some comments about future, will I win the gold? And people having their commentary on it. I don't remember one thing or another, but for me, I can't let that bother me. I could let it drive me and get me more focused.
Yeah.
And that's what I'll do. So it's like, the more people discount me and the more people naysay me, the more they're going to get disappointed. So if Kalinowski ducks me and doesn't want to face me, or if he faces me and he's going to try to run me down, or him and his corporate or his corruption goons are going to ttry to have some sort of imitation game, it's only going to get this chip on my shoulder even bigger, and it's going to make it sweeter when I send them all packing. So
100%. I mean, I'm excited for you to, again, I stand by it, not just prove anyone who doubts you wrong again, but I'm excited to finally put an end to this ridiculousness that is, potentially corruption or whatever it is, and just see someone just kick ass, without any kind of, politics surrounding it.
There's no politics are going to save Kalinowski now, man.
Right.
Nothing's going to be able to save him. No, backstage rumblings or anything that he's got coming.
There's no beefs, no stuff going on behind the scenes or whatever, and so that's what I'm excited. Just pure knowledge, and that's who's going to win. Just kind of wrap things up, Kevin. Where can we find you? Where can we kind of follow you to kind of stay up to date on what you're doing?
Well, the Trivia Dungeon, but it's in parts unknown, so I can't really tell you that. Piggy Smalls is there. So Kaiser is with a MGD. You can find me at on Twitter at Kev Smets. I also have, because I'm a Star Wars fan, it's a long time coming, but I've made a series of movies based on Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I did a machinima, basically, where you take the game. And it started out as like just kind of doing it for fun, and then a couple of super fans of the first movie helped me out, and then they literally opened the game up like a toy set, and like I could write scenes, and then they can animate it. It's using the game engine or whatever, but you search KOTOR movie trilogy. It's usually the top hits on YouTube or whatever. But like we did a 3-movie adaptation of the first Knights of the Old Republic game, and then we're doing a prequel series covering Revan. Speaking of, here's a heel for you.
Links? Could you send links to it?
Yeah, the sweet Revan mask already there waiting for you.
Yeah, Kevin, if you send us links to those videos, we'll put it in the info box below.
Yeah, sure. I'll send you.
Yeah, so they could just click on it right away, because it sounds pretty awesome. Yeah,
I mean it's
out right away.
Yeah, it's a labor of love. If I'm ever in a Star Wars match, I'll be coming out with this. You better believe it. Damon better be shaking in his boots when he sees Revan walk down the aisle.
I do not understand the obsession with Boba. I just can't.
Well, for the record, Revan's a heel too, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that one out.
This is not Boba Fett. This is Revan. Just so
sorry, yeah.
It's a Dark Sith.
Yeah, right. I stand corrected. You are right.
Actually, and Revan's neither heel nor face. Revan he ran both sides. He was the prodigal knight, my friend.
Okay.
Anyway.
Where can we find you?
Why does everybody need to be a heel or a face? Let them be. For God's sake.
Because honest to God, you probably are the first person to not be a heel or a face. It's just that's just the way it is. You are the first, Kevin. You are the first.
The first
when they're like, "Oh, great, that's all we need." That's why I kept saying I'm not a heel. Like I was laughing when my first debut, and people are like, "Great, that's all we need is another fan league that's a heel." It's like, what have I done? I didn't shake the guy's hand in my first match. I didn't shake his hand because I was in the zone. Like, players aren't running on the football field, shaking each other's hands and hugging each other. They do it afterwards. Like I gave David Moore some love afterwards, for sure. Like
maybe we just need a behind the scenes where we see you guys in a bar hugging or something, and that just can put away the whole conversation.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's just another heel," and it's like, look, I don't care. Like, why would I be worried about what I am in my first match? Like, I just wanted to go in there and make a statement. And so I'm getting ready to answer my first question in the bright lights. And, David Moore's trying to shake my hand. I'm like, get that hand away from me, man. Like, this is all business right now. I'll have a beer with you later.
100%.
Just so you heard it here first, everybody. Kevin Smets is not a heel or a face. He's a winner.
There you go. I like it.
There we go.
Ooh, that's good.
That's why I get the good plugs. You can feel free to steal that, by the way, Smets. Only a real live AI like myself could make that one up. So we can catch you at Kevin Smets. You have a lot of good side projects going on. Any other thing you want to plug before we start plugging ourselves out?
No, you guys plug yourselves. It's been an honor to be on this show. You guys do really kick-ass work. So
thank you.
Yeah, of course.
An absolute privilege to have you on here as well. It has been just the joy of my night. I'm literally up here until midnight my time, screaming my wife is going to be kicking my ass when I get to bed. So trust me, I'm putting in all the work I can for this. I'm Dylan Camacho, everybody. You can catch me at CAMACH Octopus on Twitter, Instagram. On Facebook, you can catch me just at Dylan Camacho. I'm in every single group with the Movie Trivia Schmoedown, Action Industries, Action Army, all of those ones. Literally just tag me, at me, do whatever. I posted a really sweet post recently. It's hilarious. I think it is. Go check it out. Alex, where can I catch you at?
Hashtag humble brag on that post there. It sounds like it. Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Mac_Midori. Please check us out on Twitter. I personally do run the Call to Action Podcast Twitter page. So I'd appreciate it if you followed us. That would be so fucking awesome. So
do it. Follow them.
Love it. And because I like to think I post funny shit, but that's argumentative. So
humble brag right there, Alex. Humble brag.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Let's say again, check out Ben Bateman at Ben Bateman Media, as well as Andrew Guy at Andrew Guy on Twitter. And also the Call to Action.
Talk about that match coming up, man. Like I don't know. I don't know
what you got for that one.
Oh.
I hope it goes sudden death for like 50 rounds. So I can't. I like them both. Like honestly, like they've been both great to me behind the scenes. Both great to me behind the scenes before I was anybody. Like back when I would just go in. That's the number one thing. So, you know, I don't know. I think when you look at it from a perspective of wanting what's best for each person, I think that if Guy loses, he can lose and still be a winner. And whereas if Ben loses again, that might hurt his path. So like my heart says Ben, but my, the crazy lunatic in me, if Guy wins, it'd just be another crazy
lean into the lunatic.
Not
what the fuck? Oh my gosh. Like, well, my head wants versus what my heart wants are two very different things. Honestly, but you know what? Isn't that just, team action in a nutshell? Isn't that just, the action fam in a nutshell? Absolutely. But again, thank you so much, Kevin, for joining us. We really appreciate it. It's been a hoot and a half hanging out and chatting with you at midnight in St. Louis. So get excited.
Thank you for waiting for my time. I appreciate it.
No problem. All right, awesome. Well, I guess we'll see you here. Heck, who knows? Here in a few months, you can see what's going on there.
Again, I'll be holding that title you don't like for some. How do you not like the Innergeekdom title? You're out of your mind.
Thank you.
That title is awesome.
Okay.
Too many characters. You couldn't even remember. You couldn't even say them. You couldn't even remember. You're out of your mind.
You know what? Okay, I'm not saying. I appreciate it. I love what it does. I'm so grateful they did a reimagining. To me, it's just a crazy busy design. And you know what? I can understand the appeal of it. Anyway, okay, we're going off topic. Okay.
I swear we were going to close this video like 7 minutes ago.
Dylan, stop egging him on.
A 4-hour episode.
Alex, check it out. All right. As we go, real quick. Team table, yes or no?
What?
Team table. Yes or no?
What does that mean? Team
hashtag
table.
Team table. Well, because Guy Ben through the table. So are we hashtag Team table or hashtag Ben
That's
table?
a very personal question, and how dare you ask me that? And also, fucking Team Guy. What the fuck is wrong with you, Dylan?
That's our show, everybody. I just want to thank everybody for coming in and checking on
Guy. Right.
I hope they knock each other out both. That's what Kaiser said.
They might literally. All right, guys. That was another great episode. We'll see you here soon. Have a great one. We salute you.